I'm here at a game convention to try and find out if there is such thing as an offensive offer.
What's an offensive offer?
An offensive offer.
It's a very open question.
Yes and no.
I mean, if you're gonna offer me $20 on some of these games,
So you wouldn't take $50?
Right.
I mean, I think there's a lot of context that goes into that.
Would you go offer 30 grand for a 100 grand car? I don't think so.
So, Art Gold here, what do you have it priced at?
$350.
$350, would you do 10? We're gonna talk to vendors about how they like to sell their video games, cards, and collectibles, what they think about negotiating, and ultimately get to the bottom of the stigma about negotiating. So I'm with Alpal. Alpal, say hi.
Hello.
I don't know all the vendors here.
No,
but
this is a new territory for us.
New territory. But there are a few vendors where we are familiar with, so I think we're gonna start with them potentially and figure out maybe a goal for today. Like, can we actually make an offensive offer and get it? But
Let's try.
Like, I'm curious, like, what offensive to different people means. Maybe shameless is a better word, but
Shameless.
this is Jesse. He's been on our podcast. Shout out to the Reseller Room. We're gonna take a look at what he has. He always has amazing stuff. So Jesse, I want to get to the bottom of figuring out why there's such a stigma about negotiating. Is there such thing as an offensive offer?
It's a very open question because
Right.
it's subjectional. It's like if someone comes at me with an offer that's offensive, might not be offensive to someone else.
Yeah.
And there's so many things that come into play. It's like, let's say I have an item, $200 for instance, that
Yep.
I know it's a good price. Let's say it's charting for $240, $250.
Yeah.
And someone comes at me at $150. That offer might be offensive to me. It might be offensive to anyone. The way I would handle that situation is like, I appreciate the offer. I'm at $200. I try to price my items fair and be transparent. You're
Yep.
welcome to look it up and see what it's going for and either counter with like 195 or 190.
I think an offensive offer depends on the time of the day in the convention. So
Okay.
last night we had people coming up to our booth saying, "Hey, will you take $10 off this or that?" I'm like, it's Friday night. Like,
And it was
this isn't good.
set up night for those that.
Right.
For those that
So
don't know.
it depends on the time. So I think a Saturday morning, the first morning of the convention, asking for anything more than probably like 10% off
Okay.
is more the offensive end. But as you get closer to the end of the day and you get into Sunday, you can start asking 10, 20, 30, 40, 50% off. Because at that point, people just don't want to bring the stuff home with them
Yeah.
as much as possible. So the
Okay.
level of offensive,ness I think, decreases as the convention goes on.
Offensive
An
offer.
offensive offer.
If somebody picks up a stack and they got, a $4 game, and on every $4 game, they're like, hey, would you take two? Would you take two? Would you take two? I've priced these down.
Like this one, this is a game that's on our buy list that we buy a lot of. Do we pay for it? I don't know what we pay for it.
I pay $4.
Yeah, so like that might be something we just pick up. But
Right. Yeah, if you want to take off, $2 here and there, that's fine.
Uh-huh.
But if you ask for every single one, I'm
Okay.
going to tell you, I can't, man. I can't do
yeah,
it.
well, because you have to make money. We have a lot going on right now. Let me show you exactly what's going on. Come on. Our business is busier than ever. We're doing a massive auction where we're just selling tons of video games, so having time to do anything else is super hard, and that's where our sponsor comes in, Uber Eats. Our team has a lot of big guys on it, like we're what, 6'5", 6'7"? On a bad day. So we need something simple to try and order as much food as possible. With Uber Eats, you can order in just a few taps, and there are thousands of ways to save, so we can try and find a good deal on as much food as possible. You can order from your favorite restaurants, and there's thousands to choose from. We have hundreds we can order from, but we just got in a Wingstop, so we decided to go with them. I was talking about ways to save, and in the Uber Eats app, there was actually a fantastic deal that they had going on, so we were able to get 90 wings for a really good deal. So whether you're craving pizza, burgers, sushi, a salad, Mexican food during your next game night, or you're playing Bomberman Generation, something like that, you can order easily with Uber Eats. And since we're here in the Game Barn where we do our business, I actually left notes for Zach, who delivers to us, and he just left the bag right at the door. And while we were running the auction, I was able to see where Zach was and where my food was the entire time with their in-app tracking. And then there was no need for cash. We were able to just pay all through the app, including our tip. And then you don't need to just deliver. Sometimes when we have a really full team here on a day, we can actually order for pickup, which conveniently is free. And if you use our code CHASE15, you actually get $15 off your next order of $20 or more. We love Uber Eats. We've been using them since before they even decided to sponsor. So a special thank you to Uber Eats for being a partner on this video. So in person, I see this game right here,
Yeah.
or this the Game Boy Micro for $1,000 sealed. Would you take like $100 for it?
Unfortunately, just because of the market, I couldn't do $100.
See, that's the response I like.
Yeah, and that's where it is.
Yeah.
Like you have to play face, and like I said, like there's so many factors that come into play. Some people.
How much is somebody spending? How much?
Yes.
I mean, how well is the connection? We're not trying to pull one over on you.
Yep.
When we're buying, we obviously want you to make your money. So if I'm a first-time person coming to a convention, what is just one tip you could give them on maybe meeting or negotiating with vendors?
So if you're offering less than 20%, especially on a single item,
Yeah.
most vendors will say it's low.
I think it's intimidating at first to negotiate. You're kind of like unsure of yourself and your own confidence. But I would say the first thing is just kind of practice a little bit. So maybe some smaller end games, you can say, hey, I want to try to get 10 or 20% off of these.
So like a live example would be, I see this Wario Land 2 for $30 and this Bomberman for 20.
Right.
Testing the waters, I might say, hey, could you do the pair for 40?
Right. And
Instead of
that'd
50.
be
See,
a great way to negotiate.
and then from there, maybe be like, okay, well, you have 300 on this,
Yep.
thinking maybe same percentages, or
Yep.
maybe you push the envelope a little bit. How close could you get to
Yeah.
240?
Right. So yeah, with that, me knowing that's a nice, easier to sell thing.
Yep.
I'd probably be like, hey, how about 320 for the three of them?
Oh.
Or maybe then you might come back and say, how about 300? And I'll be like, we'll see.
Yeah.
But it's all timing of the conventions.
I see Pokemon Ruby right here, and you're asking 290. Like, how do you go about a negotiation on something like that?
It depends on how much I have into it.
Okay.
I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I don't care. Let's say I have 250 into that, I'd sell it to you for 260.
Okay.
I don't care.
Just to make your money get out and keep the money rolling.
Right.
Okay.
And I always price stuff. Most of the time, I price stuff just barely above what I want, and then
Yeah.
somebody asks me,
So
I'm
you price
more than
to
willing
factor
come
in for negotiation.
for negotiation.
Okay.
Where with me, like there was a guy, it wasn't on camera, said your
Yeah.
prices are good, they're fair.
Yeah.
Well, that holds more weight to me from a longevity standpoint.
Yes.
Because if I have, let's say, Pokemon games,
Yeah.
tried and true, most vendors
which is-
here will have them about $70 on red, blue, yellow, gold, $70.
Yeah.
So I am at 65.
Yep.
Someone offers me 60 and wants to bundle all three, chances are I'll probably take it.
Yeah.
Even though every other vendor's at 70, I might be able to get 70.
There's some vendors that are at like 90.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
them.
But what it does for me is those prices being low, people then start looking for me. They know,
Yep.
hey, look, Jesse's always usually
I mean,
fair.
there's a reason we've been to you three or four times
exactly.
now.
And it's not just you guys. There's other vendors that I pulled up to one. Oh man, I'm glad you're here.
Well, yeah. I mean, when we were just walking up, there were already like 4 people all right here checking out.
And what happens from a
his stuff.
longevity standpoint is, okay, let's say I'm taking $5, $10 less on some games.
Yeah.
Because I do this, consistently now.
You could get 150 from that person the next year,
Exactly.
or even later that convention
Exactly.
when they have
So
money
it
left
pays
over.
dividends in the long run
Yeah.
to not price my items super high and just
Mm-hmm.
be fair with the stuff. To put the shoe on the other foot, what's your idea of an offensive offer? So let's
Ooh,
say someone
That's a good question.
because you guys
think
do
I'd be answering
do
this.
so much buying.
Yeah.
Most people know. I know you guys. I know what you
Yeah.
guys do. Know usually where you have to be at. But let's say someone doesn't know you.
Yeah.
And we'll take a $300 item.
Mm-hmm.
In your mind, what offer would be offensive that you would make on a $300 item?
I think what I would do, and I've learned this from Chase, is say we have something like this. We have a Donkey Kong 64, it's priced at $28. I would test the waters with something like that, I think, before swinging on something like maybe one of these CIB.
Yeah, higher end.
I think just swinging out the gate, anytime you're passing like that 30%, I think that's where it could offer, or it could go into the realm of, I don't know about that. Because I had this maybe preconceived notion that I was going to get this. Then you say, hey, I'm going to spend $5,000 with you. Suddenly 30% off everything.
Yeah, exactly,
All of
'cause
that
you're
doesn't
moving that
sound
large
as bad.
quantity of
So
items, which-
that's always our goal. But Jesse, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and try and make a offensive offer and hopefully get it.
Okay.
I don't like the level of confidence there.
I don't think anyone will swing on you.
I hope not. Alpal. I see another vendor that we're familiar with. I want to get a lot of insight from him, but what have you learned so far about negotiation and how vendors feel?
I think everyone surprisingly welcomes negotiation. It's pretty much just the time of when it's at a game convention. So it's not just about game conventions, but obviously we're talking to game convention vendors. So it matters a lot to them early on. So
yeah. I see a vendor right here that we can actually poke fun
oh
at
yeah,
him.
we're gonna ask everything for 50%
yeah,
off in his
let's
booth
send
right
him
now.
get him some shameless offers. All right, this is Chris. All right, I'm gonna put a microphone on you and I'm gonna ask you a question. If you just want to clip it to your lanyard.
Ask me a question.
All right, what is an offensive offer?
I mean, I think there's a lot of context that goes into that, you know what I mean? It depends on game, it depends on condition, but I think...
Like if I had this and I asked for 50% off, that's not offensive compared to
it's not.
50% off on, you know, CIB Game Boy Color.
It would be. If it's CIB, you know what I mean, and there's effort put into it, putting it together and getting it. But if it's something loose like that, it's not really offensive.
I've gotten $100 games, $30 offers for. That's kind of how I think of it.
Yeah.
But you can always meet somewhere in the middle, so that's why it's a no.
Do you think that's their negotiation strategy? If I see Wario World right here at $100, I know I want it for 75. I'll hit you with 50.
So I do a lot of marketing research. What you're doing is called anchoring. You're going to anchor your number at 50, so 75 sounds good.
Yep.
I anchor my number at 100, so we work down from there. And I try to price everything at price starting or $95 game at 100.
Yeah. What's an offensive offer? I think it's the tone where if people are sort of like aggressive expecting this, then that might be a little offensive. I always expect people to haggle a little bit. I try to be right at market price. So I sort of build deals into the stuff that I sell. So if you buy a system, you get 10% off all games that play for that system for the entire weekend.
Okay.
So that usually is enough to keep people happy.
Yeah.
And if you buy more stuff, I'll always give a deal. That's kind of the general consensus.
Okay.
But I would say if something is like a more niche item or it's a higher priced item, I'll be more willing to negotiate. But if it's like a $20 item and it's like a one and done, I try to stay firm at one item.
If I've got like a 12-year-old kid that's excited about a game and he's only got 50%, I'm probably gonna give it to him.
Yeah.
Or like just earlier, we had a guy that he's one of the only guys I've seen that collects CIB Game Boy like I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he got a deal on 4 games that he needed.
Yeah.
And I probably wouldn't have done that just to anybody.
Yeah,
but
so strategy to kind of like, is it minded with future? Like they're going to come back to you now. I mean, you do business with integrity and you're great anyways. Like he's fantastic. We love Chris.
That always goes into it, you know what I mean? You always have to keep that in mind. Hey, this is a potential, future customer when deciding if you're going to give a deal or not, because you can't get rich off of one item anyways.
Yeah.
So it's stupid to try to.
So now say somebody comes up to you and they have $400 or $500 to spend. And do you approach negotiations a little different that way, or does it still depend on they have $400 or $500 to spend on something more expensive versus a ton of this?
The only thing different, I think I would say, like if somebody came up and was like, hey, I got $500 to spend, my thing would be like, are you looking for something high end or are you looking for something not high end?
Yep.
You know what I mean? And if they're looking for something higher end, I have other things that I can offer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're looking to spend, like when you guys do Pokemon Pursuit, you got $1,000 to spend on Pokemon stuff.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's the same way I hit it. $1,000 on a Game Boy game that I know is rare, that's going to be expensive.
Yeah.
And it's allocated for that. You know what I mean?
So, for instance, someone bought a Majora's Mask and a collector's edition Ocarina of Time from me in the showcase.
Okay.
I knocked probably about 15% off that because he asked.
Yeah.
If he wouldn't, probably would have just sold it as is because they're priced fairly.
Okay. So tip, ask.
Yeah, ask, and the worst we can say is maybe not. But on the lower, like $15 to $20 to $30, those are the meat and potatoes that just sell nonstop already. It's hard to give deals on things that I know will move so quickly. For instance, a gentleman came by to buy all of my 3DSs, and I'm like, I can't give you a deal on those because they'll sell regardless.
Okay.
But if it's something that I've had, like a box game that only sells at certain shows, like a gaming convention, I'm more willing to give a
And
deal
since
on
you
those.
only do conventions, that's also another thing that you have to consider is you need inventory for the next convention.
Exactly.
You're not selling online.
And it's not my full-time job either.
Exactly. So you're fine with holding out. If somebody is new to game conventions and wants to buy and is scared to negotiate, what's like one tip you have for them?
Most vendors are nicer than you think they are.
Yeah.
So if you
like
just talk
you look
to
like
them,
a big tough guy I wouldn't want to talk to.
No,
but
not
then
me.
Nerd Nation introduced us, and I was like, this is the nicest guy ever.
Most vendors are nice guys. I'm sure you can work something out.
Yeah.
I'm negotiable on most things, so come by, give an offer. I'm free to take it and negotiate.
You heard him. Shoot him 50% offers, and he'll.
We'll go from there.
Negotiation in life is just be kind, respectful, and genuine. If you are just a good person and you show care, and you don't even need charisma, you don't need this outgoing person, but if you show that you're a genuine person and are asking for a decent price, you're more likely to get it.
It's
but
a
for
very-
the big dogs that show up and be like, this needs to be $20, so you're like,
Armored Core, 40.
40, deal. Yeah.
He shook.
The main tip: ask.
Ask. Power of the ask.
It is, bro. It's so true, because oftentimes you'll find that those circumstances, if you're the buyer, those circumstances that you don't think about or you don't consider, will get recognized if you say, hey, I want this, but I have X, Y, Z. You know what I mean? But if you don't ask, you move on to the next booth and you've missed it. And then you come back and somebody's got it. You know what I mean?
That's great advice.
That's the best thing I can say.
Thank you. Where can people find you?
Nowhere yet. But
Where's your next convention that you're going to?
I think we're probably not going to be doing anything until Torg next year.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, you guys are out of luck. We're going to buy everything from Chris and take all the deals.
So with talking to all these vendors, there's a stigma that the video game reseller community can be kind of mean or shady or whatever, but as you can see at these interviews, everyone's really nice.
They gave us this cool bling.
Yeah,
like
we
have
just got
chains
these
now.
for free, and everyone's just willing to negotiate, willing to have fun. Like, I love the video game reseller community. We have so many close people that interact with us.
Yeah, I mean, this is clearly Torg in Sandusky,
Torg.
And there's conventions. Southeast Game Exchange is coming up. We're going there. SoCal Gaming Expo. There's one in Portland. People ask us all the time where all the conventions are. There's a ton. I don't even know how to name them all.
I'm sure you can just Google.
No,
game
you can't. That's the issue.
You can't?
Some of them are not really optimized to be able to find, but I know there's one in Pennsylvania.
Okay, well, if you're a game
search
convention
game
owner-
convention and then just every state, and then you'll find one.
Okay, there's a good tip for you. But yeah, we don't really meet vendors at any game convention that aren't negotiable or aren't friendly to deal with.
Yeah, I can't think of any.
Nope.
But there's still one more thing I want to test. Can I shoot some kind of low offer and get it? I'm gonna kind of narrate. It looks like he's already making a bundle deal right here. I'm curious what it's gonna be for. It looks like expensive stuff. Is there such thing as an offensive offer?
Absolutely not. You can always say no, but like, I mean, if you're gonna offer me $20 on some of these games, you know, like, that are back behind me, like,
like we have ActRaiser 2, RoboTrack, those are at like $300-400. So you wouldn't take $50 right here, right now, cash money?
Right, not even for you, right. But, I mean, I always take offers, because you never know, and if someone's gonna buy a bunch of stuff, I'm absolutely gonna work with them. I know, that's what you guys do too, you know.
Offensive offer? Typically anything under around 70%, because some stuff we pay up to 80 on. The most offensive I've ever had is somebody offered me $10 on a $200 game. And I just kind of walked away because I didn't know what to say at that point.
Okay, so let's see. Heart Gold here, what do you have it priced at?
The big boxes?
Yeah.
$350.
$350, would you do 10?
No. Absolutely not.
All right, I officially have the most offensive offer. There we go. How would you treat somebody that comes to you with $50 versus $500? Are you more willing to negotiate, or pretty much the same? You want to negotiate with everybody?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because unless you're building a stack of these kinds of games, you know, like, I don't know if this person's wanting to spend 100 or 1,000 with me, but I mean, like, you guys coming around all the time, you know, you always cash out and you pay really well. So it's not like I treat you any better than anyone else, but I do know that.
That we have more money to spend.
Yeah, totally. Basically, anybody that approaches me, I try and approach it the same way.
It just depends on what they go after, you know? Try to stay at, like, on the cheaper stuff, I try to stay at around 70% of my stickers, like the lowest I'll go.
Okay.
Over here, it's probably closer to like 80.
Okay.
Just because we pay more for the case stuff, obviously.
Yeah. If you had one tip for somebody that's new to game conventions or just new to the negotiation scene at all, like, what's a negotiating tip you would have?
Bundle.
Okay.
And whatever you think you want to pay, shoot lower than that. You know,
because they're gonna meet. So
you're gonna land where you want to be.
If we did a mock example right here, let's say I'm really into Master System cards.
The little guys. Yeah.
So like we have. Yeah, these are. I mean, let's just take a look at these real quick. Spy vs. Spy is always one that's cool. And there's some. Oh, look at that. Phantasy Star 4, Gunstar Heroes. That's a very fun game. Have you ever played it?
Oh, I love that game.
Yeah, that's great. So let's say I'm negotiating on these four right here, or these three. It's at 150.
Yeah.
If I said, hey, how close could you get to $100?
Yeah,
Is that a good strategy?
Yes, because I land at like 120, and then
and
we
that's
both
probably,
be happy.
And that's probably where
you
I want to
wanna
be.
Yes.
Exactly. Okay.
And
So
with something like the Master System, we're not talking GameCube,
this is going to sit for a while.
and I know that. And so yes, I'm more flexible on this stuff.
Okay.
My GameCube, I'll be negotiable on.
But
If you're buying
if you-
4 or 5 games.
If
yes.
you know it's going to sell.
Yeah,
then
yeah.
it's-
Mario, Zelda's, Pokemon.
Cool.
I could be flexible, $5-10 here and there, but yeah, $40 off, sure, why not?
All these vendors were willing to share on how we should negotiate with them, so I'm going to use some of these newer strategies on a vendor now and see. We'll see if we can get maybe like a shameless offer, or dare I say an offensive offer. All right, I've been around.
Okay.
I've been talking to people, learning negotiation strategies, how not to be offensive, how to be offensive,
Okay.
and everything in between.
Have you got swung on at all?
No, surprisingly,
There you
Alpal beat up the only guy that like tried to
Step? Try to step on you?
tried to square up.
Next
So,
time, just come get me. I got you covered.
yeah, Jesse gets bigger and bigger every time we see him. I'm thinking about negotiating on something.
Okay.
I'm looking in this general area.
Those games here are spoken for.
Are spoken for? Okay.
Because as always, there's
So I could be
chaos.
really offensive and just try and buy them.
Let's say someone is negotiating.
Okay.
And you know this is going on, and you just offer more than that person that's next to you. That would be offensive to the other person. 'Cause let's say it's a $60 game, and you just hit me with 40, and the guy next to you is like, oh, I'll give you 50 for it. And I've seen that happen. So,
All right. So with all of this in mind, would you do $1 on Jungle Book?
on Jungle Book, I would do $1. But little does he know, I would have gave it to him for free.
Cut the video.